Good evening, everybody. Welcome tonight to this special webinar with my awesome and very special friend, Richard Maloney, to an hour of discovering. And we're looking for 5 coaches who do want to implement a corporate program. So my name is Natasha Denman, and before I actually get started, I would like to make sure that you guys can hear me and that you can see the PowerPoint presentation. So let's get a few hellos happening in the question box. And Richard, do you want to say a quick hello from your end?
Greetings, everybody. What an exciting night. Pity it's a
Yes.
bit grey outside here in Melbourne, but no, it's great to be online, and it's good to see so many faces, or so many
Yes.
names actually to the list. So welcome.
And I'm very excited for you enabling me to share this opportunity with my community. And I'm going to tell you all about Richard and how I have been helping him with his amazing soon to be released book. We've got a few hellos from Justin and Paul. Hey, Anita, Andrew, great to see you. Darren, lots of howdies. Verity, everyone can hear us loud and clear. I'll just clear all of those, and thank you everyone for saying hello. It's amazing. A little bit about who I am. Well, obviously, you guys, a lot of you do know me that are on the call. I run the Ultimate 48-Hour Author Retreat. I'm actually going away this weekend with 9 soon-to-be authors, so it's full steam ahead at this end. And alongside Richard and I have been hanging out and working on his book, so it's super, super exciting about it. So let me tell you a little bit about uh, who Richard is, and because a lot of you perhaps have not met him. And then we get stuck into the interview that we want to conduct with him. So here he is. Wow, what an amazing this credentials here with all his little tags from all the different clubs he's worked with. So Richard is a specialist in developing high performance teams, individuals and organizations in both business and elite sport. He has 19 years of experience as an established leader in sport management, commercial management, and executive leadership coaching. This includes both corporate and SME markets with organizations such as you can see, the Fremantle Football Club, the Western Bulldogs, Melbourne Football Club, and all of those other clubs that you can see up there on the screen. So his focus is really on leadership, executive development, organizational engagement and culture. He comes accredited as an educator and a trainer. He's a high performance coach and an NLP master practitioner with a passion to create and develop business savvy citizens, executives, elite athletes, and teams. He also has a proven sporting and business background as a successful leader with a list of accomplishments in a range of management positions. So Richard is the director of the Premiership Coach as well as Engage and Grow, which we will be talking to you about tonight. So Richard, what an amazing number of accolades. And I know a little secret that you have actually been able to help 27 clubs win some premierships through this amazing engagement program that you created yourself. So tell me about when and why did you start your business?
Natasha, that is a great introduction. Thank you very much. I first like to say to everyone on board tonight that if you have thought about getting involved with Natasha in relation to creating a book, I highly recommend it. She's been nothing but a great coach. So just wanted to publicly thank you. So
Thanks.
thank you very much.
My
All
pleasure.
right. So when and why? Is that what the question was?
Yeah, when and why did you start in business?
Okay, so when and why? I guess I started my own business, Premiership Coach, 5 years ago. It's around about 5 years ago as we sit. Why? I guess you could say that. Well, I know you can say that I had a burning desire to follow my passion, which is definitely what I'm doing now.
Yes.
I was coached as well, Natasha, when I was coming through the ranks as a young executive, and I noticed the power of it. And when I hit, well, around the same time, I was a failed athlete when I was given the opportunity at St Kilda as a young kid off the block who probably didn't have his right mental structure in place at the time. So there's a whole aspect of reasons why I'm doing it. I've worked in many industries: the medical, the industrial, the hospitality, the building, the transport, the safety, resource, motor, tourism, and in government. So I've had a broad feel for a lot of industries, and after failing as an elite athlete, you could say that I got heavily engrossed in understanding the power of human, dynamic and how to create great teams. Along the way, I've won probably 6 or 7 premierships as a sports player and coach, and then that more or less created the business I do now. I did get asked a lot to go and speak to a lot of clubs as past captain of clubs to do leadership work. And what I found out reasonably quickly was that if I just went every 5 or 6 or 7 weeks, that nothing really changed. So in time, I created a system which I've got, which has been working very well, which has helped me create these 27 premierships from 38 grand finals, and worked with over 70 teams. And I've got the Engage and Grow business, which is next as well, but that's working with CEOs and organisations and in business, SME, and corporate. So, and
Yeah.
I've got the Quality Mind Coach, where I work with elite athletes with their minds. I work with CEOs. I've got a couple of comedians and entertainers as well. So
Cool.
I more or less get right into the heart and fabric of organisations and into the hearts and minds of my clients. So that should give you something to think about.
So you're definitely all about engagement. So what is it that made you interested in looking at team engagement?
Well, I learned very quickly that it's the quickest way to develop long-term leadership and create dynamic cultures, because it is one of the biggest issues that organisations are facing today, which is engagement.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I go and do talks to organisations or sporting clubs, you can go and do a lot of work with the leaders, but if you don't have the remaining wider group engaged, then you can forget about long-term activation in terms of the new theories and methods we put in place. So then I had to come up with an idea of how we get the whole team engaged, and that's what I do today. So I
Awesome.
guess, in terms of a lot of the problems I found at the time, that was, the same old stories that they were having staff retention issues,
Yes.
or they were just not hitting their targets, or companies were flatlining, lacking authentic leadership, and just lacking energy. So this is how it works, really, is if you get the whole organisation engaged, then you create more leaders, and then the culture thrives. So it's
And
about
then,
working towards the science of organisational development.
and everyone wins at the end of the day, which is
It's a
awesome.
win-win, and it really
Cool.
doesn't matter what organisation you're into, non-for-profit, government, team sport, even a scouts. It doesn't matter, as long as you've got a group of people together.
Yes.
It can have a major effect in terms of getting everyone engaged. And you can go to many sports clubs now, like I do around the country, and even the businesses I work with, and they say, is it 70% now of people that are unengaged in their work? And then you'd find that in the
Yes.
same in the sports industry as well. So if you can get them further engaged, you're going to get a lot more success, and that's what we're finding.
Love it. And so then tell us obviously about your program and how does it work? Can you give us a little bit of an insight?
Sure can. So having, well, in the past, I worked for another organisation where I was out there as a BDM selling leadership and culture programs. And what I started to focus on, and what I started to notice, this is going back before I started my business, was a lot of the CEOs and HR managers or general managers were looking for something a bit different. Because there was a very much a cookie cutter template traditional program going out there, which is one-on-one coaching, usual seminars, workshops, personality profiling, and this, that, and the other. I did a bit of research and did a bit of laser focused studies, and listened to CEOs, as I said, and there was 5 things that they really wanted. If they could get it, and they said, we want the program, we want these leadership engagement and culture programs, we want them in house. Because what was happening, and what is happening today, is a lot of, or managers or staff that go through training development, they get taken out of the organisation and they go to an external training company, whether it be one for half a day to 3 or 4 days, and then they basically take the fish out of the pond, clean the fish down, and when the training's finished, they put the clean fish back into a dirty pond. So the return on investment for the L&D, learning and development, was probably not maximised. So we listened to that. We heard that they wanted a more cost-effective approach. They wanted it quicker, because they haven't got time anymore, because especially with Gen Y, they come and go, and we need to tap into them. So, and they wanted something a bit more fun and engaging. So based on all of those key indicators, I built a program through trial and error, and I started it in sports teams some 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
Well, actually 7 years ago, and then that sort of elevated me into the AFL through the implementation and the creation of these programs. So how it works The
Yeah.
program is very all action packed. It's a non-traditional, non-theory. So we go in to the organisation, or I do and have been, for 1 hour a week, and depending on how many people sit the program, between 6 and 10, well, depending on the length of the program. So 1 hour a week, say it's for instance it's 10 people, we'll do a 16-week program for 1 hour a week in
Yep.
the organisation. So not only do we focus on the fixing the organisation's issues in-house, doing it together as a bonded team, we also focus on the individual. So in other words, we're not taking them out. We're actually saying, okay, this is your organisation. Where do you want to take it? And then we basically shine the torch on the path for these people that are employed by the organisation to then go about creating their vision, cleaning up their environment, and taking it to a whole new level. We
It's
know as well that Gen Y, there can be a breakdown there. So we're very much focused on Gen Y, but it really does tap into all generations as well. There's also now, as a lot of coaches who are on the call tonight, and I see some familiar names as I mentioned, is there's 5 key motivators, neurological motivators, and we all know that it's reward, recognition, pain, pleasure, and giving back, or from the heart motivation. So through this program, we activate all 5. So you could be it could be a certain type. Then at some stage throughout the program, going for either 12 or 16 weeks, that we activate that. So we've had a roaring success with this, and it's played a huge part in where I sit today, and it's about to expand.
awesome. And that's what you're going to tell us a bit later as to, the team that you're looking to build, because you can't do everything yourself, can you? And
No,
I
it's an
can hear
exciting
you
time.
say, it is all about them taking the ownership, doing it in house, and making it a whole heap of fun. So it actually doesn't feel like they're learning and developing. They're actually really being engaged with one another. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. It's not so much a solid knowledge dump. A lot of organisations go, okay, well, let's just dump more knowledge in and fill the cup up. The cup on most people is full, and they really don't want to go on a lot of training sessions. So we more or less actually empty the cup and allow them to fill the cup at their own pace. But we create a dynamic and an environment where it's a push-pull situation, and if you're going to lag, you will be sort of exposed to some degree. But if you want to fly, you'll be helped to fly. And it's very much okay. We're taking this organisation from ground zero right up to the 10th floor, and we empower the staff to do it themselves. So as a facilitator, my role is very much, as I said, is just I've got it down to a fine-tuned art now with the system. We go in there, week 1 you do this, week 2 you do this, week 3 you do this, and so on and so forth. I've already trained up 26 coaches around Australia with the similar model. I've advanced the model a little bit to adapt to the business SME sector and
Yes.
corporate, and it's been working an absolute treat. So the feedback is enormous, and so more or less that's where we're taking it.
So
That's what we're seeing.
in saying that, what kind of results have you seen from the work that you've done so far with your program? We talked about the premierships. Can you share
Mhm.
a little bit more about the results?
Yeah, happy to. So we've worked with this system. We've worked with over 70 teams, and we do take a comprehensive before and after reporting survey to measure the growth. So we're obviously going feedback to senior management, HR, whoever it may be. 100% of all the past clients that we've done agree that they've had a significant improvement in all these areas. Their social emotional awareness, their leadership skills, they became more selfless, they became more understanding of others, they built stronger relationships in the team, the organisational the organisational culture improved. They became more engaged. The program had a positive impact and it created a more professional working environment. 100% of our clients have said that they agree with those facts. And we have over 300 testimonials to date. So across the board, we're finding that the program is consistently exceeding our clients' expectations. And one of the really exciting things about the program too, Nat, is it bonds cultures. So we've had Chinese, we've had an Indian background, we've had many Aboriginals through the program,
Yep.
and what it does, it doesn't, it really caters to go at their pace, and it caters to talk to bring them into the fold as such. So. We thought that may be a problem, but through the implementation of this program, it's been nothing but outstanding. And the second thing is we've had people video link in from all around Australia for these 1 hour meetings a week, and it's been again a great success. So as long as you've got a team that have a connection in some way, and they've got a responsibility, then we more or less load them up with a little bit more responsibility, take them on a journey which they really take themselves on, and it can last between 12 and 16 weeks and 1 hour a week. So it really is, it's about getting them to generate the energy in the organisation, but
Yeah.
keeping them accountable as well. It's a fun environment, it's a fun, exciting program, and it's a very rewarding one. Does that
Fantastic.
make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. And guys, if you have questions, we will have question time. We have planned all of this certainly. Rad just said sounds exciting. So yeah, it does. So we do have some more information to share. So we're just giving you a little bit of the background as to where it's all originated and what has happened. And there will be, I promise, lots of time for questions. So let me ask you about the book. Obviously, I know the answer, but the guys on the call I would like to hear. And we have been working on this book of yours, Winning Teams. And can you tell me a little bit, or can you tell the participants here tonight, what was the purpose behind you writing this book?
Oh, what was the purpose? I guess the purpose was to assist other organisations with real-time answers, tools, and tips to help them fast-track their organisation. So, having worked in so many industries and organisations, some have been highly successful and some have been highly unsuccessful in both sport and business. So, I've now formed a strong, I guess you could say, a knowing on how to get success and quickly. And the book offers many stories, case studies, tools, and tips, as I said, for these companies or for these individuals who are serious about advancing and very quickly. So we also go into the mind of elite athletes and investigate what I call the rough diamonds and the super athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I also interview a handful of sporting experts who have a premiership or a gold medal to their name or have had outstanding individual success. And these people such as Justin Langer, Bianca Chatfield from the Australian netball team, Frank Panisi, who is the footy manager at the Melbourne Storm over their successful and turbulent and trying years. Rochelle Hawkes, I don't think she needs any introduction. We've got Chris Nunn, who's the high performance coach for the Australian Paralympics, and Peter Day, who's the national Australian cycling coach for the Paralympics as well. What
Lovely.
I've basically done is I've asked these experts two simple questions. I said, what are the four must-haves for team success, and what are the four must-not-haves for team
Mm-hmm.
success? And they take you on an amazing journey of that goes into great detail of stories and success stories and triumphs and tribulations right through their years. As obviously we tap into more than the four must-haves and must-not-haves, but and then they unfold a lot of history and working under pressure and these sorts of things. So it really is a book that offers a real overview of organisations in business and in sport on how to get more engaged. We
Yeah.
also offer the latest global trends when it comes to leadership development and best practice in today's world. I've had the privilege over the last 5 years of being mentored by a one-on-one mentoring in this field from a senior mentor who is on the global stage when it comes to coaching some of the world's best CEOs, and I pass a lot of his or their philosophies on because he's part
Yeah.
of a broader group. Um, and as far as I'm aware, they're not in any book that I've read already. So I use a lot of their work when it comes to the one-on-one training I do with these elite athletes and the CEOs I work with.
Love it.
So the book should be out in about 4 or 5 weeks, and I'm very much I can't wait. It's
I
going to be
can't
great.
wait. I
So
love getting the books that I've had a helping hand in and holding them and have a whole bookshelf. You know, that's my vision by the end of this year to have helped over 50 people hold their books. So it's really, it's so rewarding and I can't wait for you to hold
yeah,
yours. So tell
no,
us
it's
a little
terrific.
bit about your future, Richard. What does it hold for you? And if you can just paint us a picture of where you want to
Yeah.
go from here.
Look, it's a really exciting time. I've been working really hard the last 4 or 5 years, like a lot of coaches on this call, who you start a business and you think it's just going to go boom, and you hit so many rocky times, and it's a tough, it can be a grind.
Yeah.
So I've managed to forge ahead, and now we've got to the stage where it's just fantastic. We're just getting more business that we can really handle at the stage. So that's why I'm about to implement or grow a team of a united five coaches who are experienced.
Yes.
Um, to come on the journey with me. So
Yes.
basically, want to build the engage and grow family,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of opportunity and scope. So I'll be putting on a full-time business development person to generate more business for the team as well.
Yeah.
Probably hopefully mid-year, and taking the business internationally. So small steps now, and my major focus right now is just to get the right 5 people on board. But most importantly is to continue to have a lot of fun. I have a pretty exciting life, and
Cool.
I just want people to add who have the same sort of philosophies, and I'm looking for people who are interested in just taking their coaching business to another level with a proven program, and they're trustworthy, they're honest, and they're people that are dedicated to improving society and making money.
Yeah, love it. And you just had your first baby, which is very exciting. So congratulations,
Yeah.
and your why becomes even bigger, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're late bloomers. My wife and I, and we've got a beautiful little girl, Amelia Rose Maloney, and she's certainly taken the focus, and she deservedly so. So we're very excited about that. But I'm heavily sleep deprived at the moment. That as you can see.
I know, but yep, you just gotta push through that, and um, put your best self forward, and that's what it's all
Yeah.
about in business. We're not always gonna feel 100%, but no one has to know that. Cool. So, when looking to build your team, what are
Yeah.
you looking for? Tell us.
Well, yep. As I sort of touched on it there, it's really important that the coaches that are interested in putting forward their names is they need to have a story to tell. They need to have experience. I'm going to add a string to your bow. I'm going to add a string to your bow. It's a no risk opportunity. I just need you to have the experience so you can speak comfortably. You have a rapport. You have a network as well. I mean, we are going to obviously pass business on, but we certainly will be very interested in people that have a strong network already. That in the corporate, government, SME, sports industry, it doesn't really matter. The program we've got has an impact on team. It's about human behaviour. So they have to have a current business too, Nat, where they obviously it's not a full-time employment opportunity. It's an opportunity, as I said, they can just go out there. They're looking for an engagement program that is really, really good, and then they can add value above and beyond the program as well. So, yeah, really, it's pretty simple, really. Just someone with a big heart that wants to go out there and make massive change, and then make some good dollars behind them.
Yeah, and you're going to share that with us in a minute. And certainly through everything that you have explained earlier and all the percentages, there is a huge need out there for this program like yours, isn't
Yeah,
it?
let me just add to that.
Yeah.
The findings recently reveal that I think it's 29% of employees are engaged. So 3 out of 4 businesses have no strategy in place for employee engagement. Despite engaged employees working harder,
Yeah.
they're more loyal, and it boosts their profits. So today, employee engagement and loyalty are more vital than ever before for an organisation's success and to keep a competitive advantage. And this is known in the market. So there's surveys out there, left, right, and centre now, all around the world, engaging the results of engagement. So gone are the days when a young person starting out in their career joins a company and stays until they retire. So it really is, in today's business environment, there are no guarantees, and it's about, okay, you're investing into someone, how much are you investing, and what would happen if you lost them. And for instance, um, almost 70% of disengaged employees would change employers for as little as a 5% pay increase, where we
Yes.
know that engaged employees, based on stats, would need at least a 20% increase to make the switch. And
Yes.
which really comes down to bottom line, because experts predict that the current turnover rate may rise to 65%, and that's enormous. With recruiting
Yes.
costs running approximately 1.5 times annual salary, the ability to engage and retain valuable employees has a significant impact on an organisation's bottom line. So we know that if the manager is inspiring to their direct reports, and there's a care factor that's brought in that's authentic, we know that there's a huge amount of change that can happen very quickly in the organisation. And there's copious amounts of statistics that come out every day if you're interested in this area.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a massive market, and people just want it. They don't know how to fix it. So as we all know as coaches, if there's a problem and you can fix it, you get paid. and
Yeah.
that's where we're heading. And after 5 years being in business, that's our model, and that's where we're going. And the reason I'm putting this offer forward to these coaches today at a no price, at a no cost no lay down at
Yeah.
all, is purely because I back my program. I'm not. I've sat on so many webinars in the last 5 years. I couldn't even count. And some you get some gold from, some you get sold to. And look, that's the nature of the beast, and I've been guilty of it. Having said that, the direction I'm taking with Engage and Grow is all about culture. It's all about being part of it. So I'm going to extend the hand, and I'll show you the financial
Yes.
setup in a minute. But more or less, get the right people on board. There's no risk. Just come on board, see the power of the program, and then all of a sudden we're in business together as partners, or you'll basically be a certified Engage and Grow facilitator. And
Well, that's right.
my scope, yeah, my scope is international, and it's already happening. So
Yeah,
it's
and
great.
you'd certainly walk your talk because that is actually exactly what you're looking for. You're looking to engage others into this so that they want to stay and do and be part of that team, and therefore everyone has a win-win outcome out of it.
That's right. And, if I'm going to, I just put myself in the position of the coach. Like I put myself in the position of the client that's running, if it's in my programs. Do I want to be there? Why do I want to be there? Is this giving me value? And I basically answer those questions before I take it any further. I want coaches who say, okay, Rich, this works. I'm going to come with you. Let's work together, whatever it may be. I'm still running my business. Let's do this together. And then all of a sudden, I've got a trusted, certified facilitator. I go, look, I've got business here, I've got business there. You interested? And off we go. And then I know that it's been looked after, well managed, and then all of a sudden we're flowing in the right direction. In the end game, is I want to have coaches to train coaches or train the trainer,
Yes.
which is in discussions already with a few coaches. But we
Yeah.
need you on the ground to learn the craft. I just want to add as well, the
Mm.
program I'm talking about that I have out there, this is just one of about, I think we've got 5 programs now.
Mm.
So once this is in, this is our this is a signature program. Once this is in, we have a second follow-up program, and then we've got a third follow-up program if they're going to take that, if they want to go down that track.
Yes.
But the doors open enormously, and I think we're going to hear from someone, the CEO of Edge Financial Planning, the CEO Lee Stafford, who's just gone through the program, and
Yes.
what's happened now is I just go back and he's wanting more, which is fantastic, and it's been great working with Lee and his team. And so these doors are opening now. So we just want key people, experience, that just want to go, okay, let's get on with this. Let's have some fun, and we can just work as a big tight unit.
Well, let's talk to Lee because he is on the call, and I'm going to unmute him and let's ask him a couple of questions about being on the other end of this. You cool with that?
Oh, I'll go for it. Yeah. Welcome,
All
Lee.
right, Lee, I have just taken you off mute. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. You're coming through really great. So, how are you going tonight? Good?
Oh, very well. Yeah,
Excellent.
not nice night at home. Just
Chilling.
listening to Rich talk about what he does, which is great.
Love it. And nice to meet you. I've heard things about you through working with Richard. So how did you find the program Richard did with your team? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, look, we're in a position where I suppose most people who are in small to medium business think that they're doing their best, they're doing the best they can in terms of trying to make sure that they're looking after not only staff development, but obviously making sure that the bottom line's met and all that sort of stuff. So what we were finding was we were really going through a period where we had significant employee turnover, and we probably felt that identity-wise, that my wife and I, who are partners in the business, were very clear on what we wanted our identity to be, but I don't think we were really living or portraying those values with our staff. So we recognised we had an issue. Therefore, we asked Rich to come in and be involved and run his program. I'd worked with Rich in his program, the Premiership Coach side of things. But yeah, I just said to Rich, could you please come in and try and make a difference for us? And that's certainly sort of what evolved and what happened once we ran the program over what was just before Christmas.
Yeah, awesome. And do you think, the biggest impact that the program had within your business?
I think probably the thing that stands out to me the most is that one of the things that Rich said at the very start was that nobody really cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And the thing that this program does is it's so action based. There's nowhere to hide from the program, but nobody really feels like hiding either because it's done in such a fun and I'd say an unobtrusive way that people can't help but get involved. We had Jenny, who's been with us for 2 years. She's Chinese. English is her second language. Really struggled with the language barrier, but she's a fantastic research analyst for us. But to watch the way that she grew, and then on the flip side, we have another staff member who's been with us for about 5 years, a paraplanner who works on contracts. She worked up in Queensland. We weren't sure that we wanted to bring her into it. She's running her own business outside of it. It's really just a second job. But the leadership that she brought to it was just unbelievable. So to see this growth in these two people and then to see everybody else embrace exactly what our culture was and add to that, I think that was the most important thing for us, to the point where we really believe we've got staff that are here for the long term now, and we're not talking sort of 1 or 2 years. We're talking about 5 and 10 year development programs for them.
Love it. I love it. So it was fun, and yeah,
it was a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean,
cool.
As I say, it's fun. It's action based. You're not getting belted around the ears, but you're getting little gems all the time, and I think that's, I think the key is the structure of the program.
Yep.
And as I say, I've seen it work on the football side of things as well as this side of things, and I'd say it works probably even better in a small to medium enterprise environment than what it did in the sporting environment, because you're together for 8 hours a day. So 40 hours a week, you spend more time with the people at work, obviously, than you spend with your family. So you've got to make a family, and this really gives you the great platform to be able to do that. Yeah, so yeah.
So would you recommend this program to other companies? I mean, from what you've said, certainly.
No, probably not.
Because you want to keep him to yourself?
Absolutely, I would. Sorry, I realise that nobody can laugh. Hopefully a few people had a chuckle with that, but no, absolutely. I couldn't recommend it more thoroughly, and I'm really looking forward to working with Rich on tranche 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and I'm so glad that you came and gave us your point of view, because I hear him talk about it, but it's nice to hear someone else who's done it. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, and
no
all
problem.
The best with your family.
Thank you. No, it was the best $14,000 we've ever spent. So
cool. All right, I'll put you back on mute. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
Great. That's great, Richard. Well, we're at that stage of the night where you need to tell us the potential of this program, Richard. So why don't you talk us through the potential earnings of the team members that would come on board? Certainly that's what you're looking for tonight.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so how it sits today is the coaches that come on board it's a very generous sharing commission-based sort of partnership. So basically what it means there is if you look at the top chart, it's got number of people, weeks required, cost PP. Let's go to number 8. So for instance, so basically you've got 8 people that want to run the program. Whether it be senior management, it be the marketing department, whether it be IT, whether it be middle management, it doesn't matter. They could be all around Australia, all around the world, as long as they have a relationship and they're heading in the same direction. With an 8-person program, it's going to take 14 weeks. As I said, the program is a step-by-step system. It's not really a system. We don't want to call it a system, but it is more or less one where you just open the agenda and go, this is what I'm doing today. And then you follow that through. You meet 14 times. We're charging at the moment roughly $2,000 per person to sit the program. So obviously that times 8 is $16,000. And then on top of that, what we're saying to the coaches is we're going to give you an 80% commission. So in hindsight, you're getting a lot more than I'm getting. But what the deal is to, and you can see if I just move to the next chart before I go forward, you see the 8 down here. If you're a coach and you can do 5 programs a year, you got to remember you're doing each program you're doing for an 8-person, you're doing 14 weeks. You're doing 14 hours.
Yeah.
14 hours face-to-face. There is a bit of prep time. There's a little bit of one-on-one coaching in the program, and there's a bit of drive time. So you could say that 14 hours might double. It might become close to 30. If you add all that together, you're still making a handsome sum of $12,800 for one program. So if you can do 5 programs in the bottom chart, you'll see that you can take home $64,000. And then so on and so forth, 10, 12, and 30. How it works is, so there's a no risk opportunity here. But the way it's going to happen is when I pick the coaches to come on board, when we go out there and I teach you the program, there'll be a bit of training prior, but I like to be out there with my coaches to make sure they're completely secure with the information they're throwing in. Because it's a system, look, I tell you, there's not a lot to it. Like any organisation has solid systems, they thrive. So we would then make a deal with you that we would do 50-50 for the first couple of programs. So because we're spending our time out there with you, and until we get to a certain amount, whether it be 20 grand in my pocket in the Engage and Grow business, then we go to the 80-20 opportunity. The 80-20 opportunity is for your clients. If I send you my clients, it's a 50-50. Look, these are rough figures at the moment, but we're 99% sure that we're going to head with these. Yeah. So as you can see, we're saying bring your client in that you apparently got out there at the moment that wants, all we're saying to clients that are interested, look, we've won 27 premierships with this new, unique program that's very much in-house, having a major impact. Get me in front of the client. It's your client the whole time. I'm just I'm just the lead Engage and Grow business operator, and you maintain the relationship. I don't get involved whatsoever. And then we implement it. We'll work at selling it in there for you, if that's the case. There's a lot of case studies and whatnot, and then we'll help you run the program. So you've got an 80-20 there, and if you can do as many programs as you can make as much as you want. I just want a really committed team that says, Rich, I'm coming with you, let's do this. I'm ready to go. I'm finishing this one now. I'm finishing that one now. Have you got another one? I can say, what have you got? Da, 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 da. Anything on top of that. So, for instance, you might get, like I did with Lee, I'm doing other programs in there now, like I do with other organisations. Then that's up to you. That's where you take it. So that's additional to you as well. So I'm basically handing you a business in a box, because this is a powerful program for you to get your fingers into the fabric of every organisation, not just, oh, this is a great program. If you do a great job, like what I've been seeing is like you're there forever. And this is what's happening. So the model's built, and the 80% is, as I said, 95% too. It could get to 75, 25. It just depends on what sort of cost it's going to have. Now, also, to make it even easier for the coaches, I'm in the process of building an iPad app. So in that iPad app, it's going to be a customized template where more or less you just put in the details of the organisation you're working with. You put in the number of clients. Do they have staff? Do they not have staff? Because there's different templates, and automatically you'll have, okay, you've got 8. We need a 14-week program. It'll just go instant, and then you'll get notifications pop up every time you need to send out emails, every time you have to make do a one-on-one or make a call. So we're making it that simple for you that you just go, okay, well, I've got 5 programs today. I've got Nokia, McDonald's, Google, whatever it may be. You pick up your iPad, and that's all you need, because you take your iPad into the meeting and you've got your agenda on it. And you've got videos of me in the background saying, look, if you're not sure, then this is what you need to do. So it's a foolproof system, because if you're going to be representing my brand, I've got to make sure you're going to be completely 100% good at your craft. And look, as I said, I've fine-tuned the craft now with 26 coaches, or leadership facilitators, I call them. And so you could say that I've seen it all. And we want to take trusted people on board with us, because we want to get to the stage, or we're going to get to the stage where I'm going to need some big players to coach the coaches. So that makes sense.
Yeah, so this is the very beginning of it, which is where the biggest value lies within those people who really master this, and the potential in the future to become that trainer.
Yeah, more or less. It's ground zero. Well, it's not ground zero for me, but it is ground zero for the first team. I wanted the Fabulous 5.
Yeah, Fabulous 5. That's a good one. Awesome.
And,
so
I just want them fully trained up, so they get it, they understand it, and then they can just roll it out for us. And then all of a sudden, you could have 10 programs going at once. And if you do 10 programs at 10 people, you're doing You're working smart instead of hard. If you see the tagline in my logo, it's about working smart, win more,
Winning
and
more.
that is the motto and the thinking behind this business.
Love it. Rad's just saying gets even better by the minute. He's been commenting while we've been chatting. So so shall we open up the floor for some questions and also to let people know how they can contact you
Love to.
apply. So let me move on to that slide. So to apply for one of these 5 positions that has opened up at Richard's team, email Richard at engageandgrow.com.au, and in this email state obviously your name, your website, and why do you want to be considered for Richard's team. There will be a full day training for the coaches, and Richard scheduled this for the Sunday, the 16th of March.
That's
And
flexible.
he has been, it is a flexible date, but it is, he wants to hit the ground running. That's what you told me. And,
That's what we're doing.
and 2 coaches are already under consideration. He's been having, some chats and, doing a few interviews. So, as he said, there is no upfront investment. So, bear that in mind. And yeah, so let's just have a look. Couple of comments here, Rich. Cheryl says, this is awesome. Just what was needed when I was working in management, from Cheryl. Yep, thank you for the comment. Justin says, have you ever done training for a major organization that they thought they had a great team, but you, with your training model, found out they didn't?
Well, the only reason why I go into organisations is because their team is dysfunctional.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like you're going to clients that have pain. You're not going to go to clients that don't have pain. They're okay, and there's a few and far between. But most of the organisations have a breakdown at some level, and so that's definitely true. I mean, there's no such thing as perfection, but you want to get as close as you can to working together. And what this program does as well, Justin, is you start with one area, and then all of a sudden you enter another area, could be another department, then you've cleaned the whole place. So every time you do a program between 6 and 10 people, we know that the program will impact up to 50 to 60 people in the organisation through the cross-pollination that we create in relationship building. So we know that it goes right down and it's focused on the whole organisation. Then we bring a whole new, we create a leadership pipeline as well. So in actual fact, the next generation will basically be in the pipeline. Does that make sense? I hope it does.
Yeah. And Karen's asking, what qualifications do you require applicants to have already?
Look, the qualifications just need to be that you've got a business and you've got a business that's working, and you've got an understanding, and you've got a good network of people that you could take this program to, and you're just a trustworthy and honest person that really wants to make a big impact. In terms of qualifications, well, look, I've got my coaching, my NLP, all those bits and pieces, but this is about real life. So this isn't a program that you can go and read in a book. This isn't something that is on the bookshelf as such, or in institutes. This is basically been cut through trial and error. So if you've got a good understanding of people and have a care factor, that's pretty much all the qualifications you need.
Cool. We've got a couple more questions just coming through. Colin's asking, Richard, what size SME do you feel is the best target that also can afford and understand the benefit of the program to them, that is best value for money?
Well, we like to start with 6 people. You don't really want to go any lower than 6. So an SME, and that's in terms of the program. But the SME, Cole, it doesn't really matter. Like, I used to be a builder, and I know that when I first left school, I was a chippy. I know that if you had an organisation or a small business in that area that you were focused on really making it thrive, this would work. You just got to have people together for 1 hour a week, whether they're and they're heading in a roughly the same direction. So it doesn't really matter. That's the stress. That's what I need to stress the most. This program is very much sits in with an SME. It sits in with a corporate. It sits in with government, because it's all about team dynamic. If they're serious, if they think $2,000 per person, which comes down to roughly $150 an hour training, which is very, very, it's a good, it's not too high. Then don't go near them. So this is where we can, this is what we can do. This is where we can take you. If you don't have a need, then just walk away. There are so many businesses out there with this pain. Small organisations now know more than ever, similar to Lee, that culture is king. If Lee doesn't have a strong culture in there when he leaves the office, then they're just going to, like we all did when we were kids, probably growing up, just take the mickey. So the world is speeding up. It's not it's and if you're not evolving, basically you're dissolving. And so when the pain is applied, then they'll come a knocking.
Yeah, and Colin says very reasonable pricing. We've got a question from Ben. Just a bit typed up, a bit funny, but I'm getting the gist of it. Is how do you measure the success of the program?
Sure. So we have surveys that go out automatically, which are all online. And so those surveys go out before and after. So we ask questions on individual development and organisational development based on their opinions. And even the last survey I did, we didn't have, we ask out of 10, how do you rate the program, things like that. And we haven't had anything below lately. Well, when we were fine-tuning it, there was 6s and 7s, but now we nearly get 8s, 9s, and 10s the whole way through. So there is a structure we put in place. But look, a lot of organisations, especially in the city, have their own engagement surveys. So we just tap into that and say, look, these are the things we want to see, whether it be meeting sales targets, whether it be this, that, and the other. Then we put a focus to it. But the program in itself, at its core, is all about engagement. We get them more engaged, we create more leaders for engagement, and all of a sudden the culture starts thriving. And we're basically re-energizing the organisation. Whether it doesn't matter how old you are, we basically get in there and re-energize it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. Ben said typo, sorry. Okay, question from Lisa. Are you open to having leadership facilitators from other states? And how would this work for your Fab 5 team? For example, I'm based in Brisbane.
Lisa, feel free to put an expression of interest in. Happy to look at all situations. Not a problem whatsoever. I mean, I'm heading over to Perth in 2 weeks' time to speak to someone over there. So it's whatever you like. Initially, I thought Melbourne and Sydney. So because I've got so much going on at the moment, how do I manage this?
Mm-hmm.
But if I get the right people, look, in time, I want to have 20 coaches.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get any further down the track than making sure the first fabulous 5 are completely 100% locked in, because if we're out there pushing engagement, leadership, culture, I want my organisation to be on steroids with that.
Yeah.
We've got to be walking our talk. So I've got to make sure that you're completely happy with where we're heading, and you've got the support you need. And then by then we just take one small bite of the elephant and take 2 and 3 and see where we go. But in terms of Brizzy, look, it's a beautiful state. I'd be happy to have a coffee with you up there if all things go well.
Cool. And Colin's just made a statement. World best practice on engagement is 67%. In Australia, it's just 30%. He goes, I feel great opportunity if this is sold properly. So that's great. Thanks for adding that in. Richard's here. Richard says, hi, do you have any long-term plans for international expansion? The rest of the world could use some great teams like the Aussies do.
Well, I think you're based in Canada, Rich, so I did get an email from you through...
I know this, Richard. Oh, yeah. I know. Okay.
So, look, that is the plan, Richard. So, as I did mention to you when you put the interest in, definitely. So, one step at a time, my friend. If you want to stay tuned, we'll be over there at some stage. Maybe you can pick up the tab on that one, Rich. Initially, then I'll pick it up the next time.
Cool. And Lisa says, hey, it's perfect state, and I like your thought processes in growing your dynamic Fab 5 team. And he says, great. Awesome. Any other questions? Let's have a look. So will there be any territories or zones for each coach, Richard?
No, it hasn't got to that. It's certainly not. It's very much, this is the certification. You'll need to go out there and market it. We'll market it as well. And it's the world's your oyster.
And in terms of, say, people internally into the organisations, like learning and development and HR managers, could they be part of your team or take this on board within their organisations?
Well, that's the next focus, and it's in the pipeline at the moment. So my first focus is to get the 5. coaches, and then we'll be building into the HR and L&D industry. So we'll go to organisations and say, look, what's your strategy? We'll actually upload them with the education and have an internal person accredited or certified, or they can use one of our coaches. So they've got a two-pronged approach. So definitely yes.
Cool, cool. Susan's just come on late on the call, but she said, I missed the beginning. I see that the last slide says there is no upfront payment. Is there a buy-in at some point? Do you want to just re-clarify that for her, Richard?
Yeah, all the buy-in I need is the right attitude.
Yeah.
The buy-in, just to clarify for people, I went past that a little bit too quickly as well, is when we go out and educate and train our leadership facilitators or engage and grow certificated facilitators,
Yep.
then we take 50% of the revenue, you take 50% of the revenue. So in other words, you're getting income straight away, and so we're both winning. So I'm going to go out there and teach you and give you the step-by-step process. Mind you, you'll have training, as I mentioned, and then we'll go and get our hands dirty in the organisation together. And that could be you just sitting in the background, or that could be me just giving you this, and you could say, look, I'm fine to go with that, no problem, which majority are, and then off you go. But we take 50-50 up until we get to $20,000. So I've got $20,000 in an Engage and Grow. You'll have $20,000 in your business, and then we go to an 80-20 model based on it's your client, or we stay at 50-50 if it's clients that I'll pass off to you.
Cool.
I hope that is clear.
Yeah. She says, excellent, win-win. Lisa says, what's the time frame for applications?
ASAP.
Yep. Richard's looking for his team right now, and as you can see, the date there is 16th of March. So he wants to lock in people that he can start training and putting out there into the into the place of delivering his amazing system. Natalie says, is the no upfront investment a special offer for the Fabulous Five, or is it the way the system is set up? So is this kind of a once-off for your starting, or is it going to be a good question?
It's working. It's a good question. It just all depends. It all depends on how quickly the business grows. If we say, look, we've got 10 clients here that we just can't service, but we want a coach to come on board and he's basically a revenue stream for you, then there may be a cost to come in. I really don't know. All I'm focused on right now is just getting to make sure that we get the right five. And look, I'd say the whole, we're Australians, right? We don't want to be bullshitted too. We just want, is this a good deal? Is it not? Do I have to put my hand in my pocket yet again? No, you don't. Do I have to invest in relation to into the program? Yes, you do. I just want people that just want to take this to their organisations, be fully trained, and then just have a big create enormous change. And we both win. So if I get to the stage where I've got all these coaches out there working, and I've got coaches training the coaches, then I'm making income too. So I'm going to be putting more money in your own pocket initially, because I need you happy. I need my coaches wanting to stay with me.
Yes.
And so I've got a unified team. It's not about greed. It's all about, okay, we've got an idea here. We think it's going to have a massive impact. In fact, it already has, and we're going to take it to another level. Who wants to come with us?
Perfect. Charlotte just said, when will your book be available? I think Richard said about 6 weeks' time. That's approximately, yeah. Natalie just said, appreciate that you're concentrating on the first 5, and I wonder how fast do you want to get to 20 coaches? 1 year or more, really interesting, just can't apply right now. Natalie, I think, is about to have a baby, that's why.
Good luck, Natalie.
Yes, she's, I think, only a week or 2 away. So, so she is curious how fast you want. I guess, Richard, you were saying you just want to take it one step at a time. So he doesn't really know what sort of, those next steps would be. I mean, you envision it, but, do you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of the steps, I don't want to get it too ahead of the game. Look, just give me a call down the track when you're ready, and we'll see where we're at. At this stage of the game, it's just critical that we just do it right now. And the business might go in this direction, that direction, but we know where we're going for the next 12 months, if not 6 to 12 months, and we're looking forward to taking those steps accordingly.
Cool. Karen's got a question. Have you ever serviced the medical or university environments?
Well, I used to work in it. I was a safety rep, medical rep for many years, so I haven't actually been and got the program in there. But I know the industry pretty well. I spent 5 years in it. Look, I know, for instance, that it would work very well. You just got to come with me with the situation. Say, look, this is the setup. Obviously, there's thousands of different organisational structures. I would come back and say, look, 9 times out of 10 it could work. There could be the 10th time that it mightn't, but there's other programs we can put in to supplement that. But at the end of the day, if they've got a team, they want to advance the team, we do that for them, and then we hit a whole pack of people along the way.
Nice one. Rad just said, my question is, when can I start? I guess
by putting an EO in.
So you need to put an email in, and Richard's obviously going to go into discussions and interviews, I guess, with who the Fab Five will be. He goes, I will tonight. Perhaps we'll just handle this as the last question so we can let people go have their enjoyable evenings. Ben has had really interesting stats in regards to disengaged employees in the workforce. Where are these from?
Yeah, I'm just getting them for you now. Give me 2 seconds.
Andrew Dennis has also said, sounds great. Andrew, I thought this might be up your alley when I saw your name on the call. That's really cool to see you here. Yes, he says, so I did, I had the right feeling.
It's from the findings released from Dale Carnegie Training and MSW Research. So you can Google them. They're an organisation over in the States that do a whole lot of surveys and statistical analysis. Thanks, Ben.
Fantastic. Cool. And Cheryl's emailing you as we speak. Ben's saying, cheers, Rich, chat soon. Well, guys, I want to thank Richard so much for sharing this with us and allowing me to, I guess, bring this to you. Because half of the people on this call are people that are near and dear to me, and half are his community, and we just wanted to share it so therefore he can get his best 5 people on board and take Australia and the world by the storm with this program, which you're calling the Engagement Accelerator program. Is that right?
Oh, look, I like the Engagement, Leadership and Culture program, but in this day and age, everyone wants a sexy buzzword. So I guess we can add that one to it. But look, the program does the walking and we do the talking. I just need people to do the talking with me. So
yeah, cool.
If it stands up, then you'll be happy, as it does. So look, it's been fantastic to be on the webinar, Nat, and I really, really appreciate you inviting me on. Great opportunity to kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
Talk a bit about the book and then elevate this and leverage this into the broader community. So if you're interested out there, I'm open for conversation.
Yeah, and John said, thanks for sharing. It makes sense, and we will be on board. Carol, thank you so much for generous. We have so many thank yous for the opportunity, and thank you guys. Talk to you soon, Richard. Wonderful webinar from Dora and all of that sort of stuff. So many thank yous just coming through from Tracy and Charlotte and all of that. Thank you. We're much appreciated, and we trust this has been valuable. And I'll see you guys around on another webinar sometime soon, and you will connect now with Richard, those of you that are interested, and see where that takes you. And good luck, everyone. All right. Have a great night.